Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to break down the science of motivation. We're going to look at why your brain craves video games over studying, and way more importantly, how you can actually start to take back control.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. Because this is a struggle pretty much everyone has, right? You might think it's a lack of willpower or that you're just lazy, but it's not. The real answer, it turns out, is deep in the wiring of your brain.
Now, I know this sounds a little dramatic, but honestly, it really nails a key point. That powerful drive for fun, stimulating stuff comes from a really deep, ancient part of our brain that basically generates our wants. And you can't just tell it to want something else. Getting this is absolutely the first step. So this little part of your brain, the nucleus accumbens, think of it as your motivation engine. And dopamine, that's the fuel. When you do something that releases dopamine, that engine reinforces the behavior, making you want to do it again. You can't just flip a switch on it, but as we're about to see, you can learn to pull the levers that influence it. And this brings us to a huge idea that's all over the internet, this whole dopamine detox thing. Well, it turns out it gets the science completely backward, and it might actually be making your motivation problem even worse. So the common belief is that we're all overstimulated, we've got too much dopamine, and we need to detox to reset everything. But the scientific reality? It's the complete opposite. Dopamine is the resource, the fuel we need to do hard things. Low motivation isn't a sign of too much dopamine, it's a sign you've already spent it all. And check this out. The research totally backs us up. In these classic studies, scientists would lower the dopamine levels in rats. And what happened? The rats just stopped working hard. Even when there was a way better food reward available, the low dopamine rats were just too lazy to go for it. They couldn't be bothered. They just took the easy option. So what's the big takeaway here? It's simple. Dopamine isn't the enemy you need to detox from, it's the engine. It's the thing that allows us to push through challenges and engage in those vigorous responses, whether that's a rat climbing a barrier or, us studying for a final exam. Okay, so let's get into this really powerful analogy that's going to completely change how you think about your day and, well, how you manage your motivation. Picture this. Every single morning, you wake up with a full tank. You have this finite amount of dopamine that's ready to be spent on whatever you're doing that day. And how you spend it, especially in those first few hours, really determines everything. And this is how it plays out, right? When your reserves are full, a low dopamine task like studying gives you a decent little reward signal. But if you start your day with something super high dopamine, like scrolling social media or gaming, it's like taking that lemon and just squeezing every last drop out of it in one go. You empty the tank, and by the afternoon, there's just nothing left for the hard stuff. And this points to a super powerful strategy. You have to protect your dopamine in the morning. Start your day with the productive, low-reward stuff. Maybe you don't even pick up your phone for the first hour. When you do the hard things first, you use your dopamine to actually reinforce the habits you want to build. So, if you can't just force yourself to be motivated, what are you supposed to do? Well, you get clever. You stop trying to fight your motivation circuit head-on, and instead, you learn to influence the other brain circuits that feed into it. These are your control levers. We're about to walk through 4 key parts of your brain that you can control. Think of them as the inputs to your motivation engine. And by managing these, you can start to steer your motivation towards the things that you actually care about. First up is your emotional state. Your amygdala, that's the emotional center of your brain, it has a direct hotline to your motivation circuit. So when you're feeling anxious or stressed or down, your brain automatically goes looking for relief. And what's the easiest, quickest relief? A little dopamine hit from a game or your phone. So what does this mean for you? It means managing your emotions isn't just some feel-good thing. It's a core motivation tactic. Doing things like journaling, meditation, or even just taking a long walk helps you process those feelings. A calmer mind is a less impulsive mind. Simple as that. Next up, your prefrontal cortex. It's kind of like a little accountant in your brain, constantly running a cost-benefit analysis in the background. It's weighing the immediate, guaranteed fun of gaming against the delayed, kind of abstract reward of studying. And let's be honest, in that subconscious calculation, the immediate reward usually wins. But you can hack this system with a conscious process. It's called playing the tape through. And the key here is you have to do it on paper. No screens. You physically write out, hour by hour, what's really going to happen if you make choice A versus choice B. It forces your brain to see the long-term value, and that slowly starts to shift the subconscious math.
Okay, lever number 3 is your hippocampus, your memory center. Here's the thing. Your brain is a novelty-seeking machine. If you've tried and failed to build a habit before, your brain remembers it wasn't fun. The video game industry, by the way, are absolute masters of this. They're constantly dropping new content to keep you hooked on that novelty.
You can totally use this trick for yourself. Trying to get back into exercise, but you hate the gym? Then for goodness sake, don't go back to the gym. Try something completely new. Pilates, yoga, work out with a friend. Adding that novelty tricks your brain into reevaluating the whole thing, and it gives you a fresh shot of motivation. And finally, our last lever is probably the most counterintuitive one of all: pain. It turns out that in our brains, the circuits for pain and pleasure are deeply, deeply connected. A little bit of the right kind of pain can actually make the pleasure and the reward of an activity way bigger. I mean, think about it. A video game you win easily? That's boring. A hard-fought comeback victory? That feels incredible. It's the same thing with a workout. That burn you feel on the last few reps is painful, sure, but it's also what makes the accomplishment feel so good. Embracing that productive struggle is key. All right, let's put this all together. Let's turn all this cool neuroscience into a simple, practical game plan that you can start using like today. So here it is, your new motivation toolkit. The big takeaway is this: stop trying to fight a battle of willpower that you're probably going to lose. Instead, start managing the inputs. Guard your dopamine in the morning, calm your mind, get clear on the real value of your actions, throw in some novelty, and don't be afraid of a healthy challenge. This isn't just some interesting theory. It's literally the user manual for your brain. The power to direct your focus and your energy, it's right there. It's not about forcing it, it's about strategy. Thanks for watching.